The title of our work is a repeated measures study within subjects with randomizations in Python codes. We are from Portugal. My name is Rita Teixeira, and my colleagues of this research are Sónia Brito-Costa and Anabela Gomes. The summary of this presentation. We start with an introduction to the problem that you want to analyze, the protocol, the data collection techniques, the metrics that we measure during that experiment, some questions, findings, and finally some conclusions. The introduction. In highly digital courses such as communication design and multimedia, students often incorporated programming for the first time. The inherent complexity of these courses can lead to significant learning difficulties, particularly when it comes to grasping programming concepts and languages. The common problems with Loop 4. One of the prevalent challenges faced by students learning programming is the difficulty with for loops. This control structure is fundamental in many sub-programming languages, including Python. Many students struggle to understand how to properly implement and utilize for loops in their codes. In this study, specifically, we investigated the challenges students face when learning for loops in the context of the Python programming language. Python's syntax and structure can present unique hurdles for learners, making it essential to address these difficulties effectively. The variability in teaching context. The context in which programming is taught varies greatly, influencing students' experience and difficulties. Different educational settings and formats can affect how well students comprehend programming concepts and their subsequent performance. Programming language challenge. Certain programming languages such as C and Python come with their own set of challenges. The difference in syntax, semantics, and the underlying logic required can create barriers for students who are now new to programming. So, to mitigate the difficulties faced by the students, there is a pressing need to better support system and resources. This includes tolerated instructional strategies and additional practice opportunities that focus on common problem areas, such as for loops. Experimental protocol. For the study analysis, we have variations. 30 different versions of the same protocol were created. Each version featured the for loops organized in different random ways. The approach was essential to prevent participants from exchanging answers, thereby maintaining the integrity of the study. The randomization of the loops. The random arrangement of the for loops ensured that no two participants incorporated the same sequences. This method not only minimized the changes for answer sharing, but also allowed for a comprehensive assessment of individual problem-solving capabilities. We use, in this research, the gaze point eye tracker, a sophisticated tool that collects data on pupil dilatation and blink frequency per minute. This technology provided valuable insights into participants' cognitive states and emotional responses during the task. Here we have the protocol. So we started with a black screen. Then we have a cross fix in the middle of the screen during 3 seconds. And then we have the code Python and the questions, which each participants need to answer A, B, C, or D. And then we repeat the process for the remaining conditions. We have more 3 conditions. We have condition A, B, C, and D. So The experiment and data collection techniques. We use the gaze data analysis. The eye tracking data analysis yields realistic insights into how participants reacted with solving Python code problems. By measuring pupil dilatation and blinks, research could infer levels of engagement, confusion, and focus during the problem-solving process. Participant observation. Through the study, participants exhibit varying levels of concentrations, as indicated by eye tracking metrics. These observations were crucial for understanding the cognitive process involved in the coding task. Behavioral insights. The data collected allowed the research to draw conclusions about the participant's mindset as they navigated through the coding challenges. This behavioral analysis was the key to improve future educational strategies. Eye movement eye trackers as a predictor. So this study investigates how eye movement metrics, such as pupil dilatations and blink rates, can serve as predictors of the correctness of answers provided by students while programming. This analysis revealed the specific patterns in gaze behavior correlate strongly with successful task performance. The impact of question complexity on gaze behavior. During the experiment, it was observed that the complexity of programming questions significantly influenced students' gaze behavior. More complex questions lead to longer fixation during and increased pupil dilatation, indicating higher cognitive load as students attempted to process the information. Identify misunderstood areas in Python code. The eye tracker data collected during the experiment highlight common areas with Python code that students frequently misunderstood. By analyzing gaze patterns, the research identifies specific syntax and logical errors that pose challenges, offering insights into target institutional strategies. Here we have the four conditions. Condition A, B, C, and D. The A, it's an increase loop for. B, it's a decrease loop for. C and D, it's also an increase and decrease loop for, but in that case we have two loop fors. So we have, in condition A, you have 3 lines, and B, also 3 lines, to understand the eye tracker analysis, pupil dilatations, and also the blinking. And in all the conditions A, B, C, and D, we have the answer A, B, C, and D that are in the square, in the gray square. In case of condition C and D, we have 5 lines to understand the eye movements and the pupil dilatation of the participants. Here we have the result of the pupil dilatation in right and left eyes and the blinking per minute. In the first line, you have the information considering the first line, second line, and 3 lines of the code in condition A. And in the end, we have more 3 graphics with each box plot represent the dilatation pupil in left and right and blinking, considering the option A, B, C, and D, so the answers of the code. We have the same analysis in condition B and condition C and in condition D. In the case of C and D, you can see here that in first line for a dilatation of left and right and blinking, the code is composed with 5 lines. So look, you have here 5 box plots. And in the last graphics, in the second line, have also the box plot is related to the options A, B, C, and D that are the answers of the code. Okay. So the findings of our experiment: pupil dilatation and task performance. The relation between pupil dilatation and task performance was a crucial focus of this study. Findings indicated that greater pupil dilatation often correlated with high levels of cognitive engagement, suggesting that students were more focused when dealing with challenging programming tasks. In case of blinking rates and cognitive load, the study also measured the blinking rates as indicator of cognitive load. Higher blinking rates were associated with periods of confusions, suggesting that when students encountered difficulty, their blink frequency increased, reflecting a moment of cognitive overload. We compare a comparative analysis of high movement partners. A comparative analysis of high movement partners among different students groups revealed variation in how they approach programming problems. These differences provide insights into diverse learning strategies and highlight the need for tolerated educational approach. Some conclusions and teaching recommendations. Many students encounter significant challenges with the syntax of for loops in Python. These changes often stem from a lack of familiarity with programming concepts and the specific syntax rules of Python, leading to frustration and errors in their coding attempts. So it's important, the importance of practice. The study highlights that a lack of practice is a major factor contributing to students' difficulty. Regular hands-on practice with coding exercises is essential for students to become comfortable with for loops and to reinforcing their understanding through applications. Simplifying context structures. To address the difficulty faced by students, teaching strategies should focus on simplifying complex loop structures, breaking down the components of for loops and providing clear examples can help students grasp the foundational concepts more efficiently. And gradual progressing in teaching. Educators are encouraged to implement a gradual progressing in teaching for loops, starting with simple examples and gradually introducing more complex scenarios can help students build confidence and complete the using loops. So thank you for your attention. If you have any question, please send an email.